Every time your reality begins to shake, it's not punishment, it's a test of resonance. The universe is checking if the vibration you asked for matches the one you're maintaining. You said you wanted expansion, peace, love, abundance. Now life is asking, can you hold that frequency when everything looks opposite? This is the upgrade in disguise, discomfort as refinement. What feels like chaos is alignment recalibrating you to match what you've been calling in. When the universe tests you, it's not to see if you're worthy, it's to strengthen the energetic muscle of consistency. Anyone can believe when things are easy. True mastery begins when belief holds steady through confusion. The energy of faith is a frequency, and the field measures coherence, not emotion. Each time you remain centered while the external world trembles, you send a signal that you're ready for the next octave of reality. The test always appears right before the leap. The old energy tries to confirm its existence through resistance. Habits pull you back, patterns replay, people test your boundaries. The question isn't, why is this happening again? But, am I responding the same? If your reaction shifts, the cycle ends. If your energy stays grounded, the pattern dissolves. The universe isn't cruel, it's precise. It checks if the new code is stable before unlocking the next level. Upgrades rarely feel gentle. You'll feel stretched between what was and what's becoming. One part of you wants to cling to the known, the other feels the pull of the infinite. That tension is sacred, its evolution unfolding in real time. The frequency of your next chapter cannot coexist with the density of your last. So when everything feels unstable, remember, the vibration that built your past cannot sustain your future. Let it collapse, that's how you rise. There's a silence that comes after chaos, and that silence is the moment of download. When life slows, listen, that's integration. The new energy begins to settle and your nervous system learns to hold more light. You might feel restless, emotional, even lost. These are symptoms of expansion. The body is catching up with the soul. Breathe through it. You're not breaking, you're being rewritten. Your sensitivity is not weakness, it's calibration. The universe sharpens your awareness by intensifying feeling. The discomfort is feedback. The emotions that overwhelm you are waves of data. They carry information about what still resists alignment. Don't numb them. Feel them fully, and they'll deliver their message, dissolve, and make room for higher energy. Avoidance freezes evolution. Surrender accelerates it. You may feel detached from things that once defined you. Relationships, habits, and interests might fall away. This emptiness isn't failure, it's space. Upgrades require storage. The universe can't upload new frequencies into a cluttered field. So when life feels like it's removing everything, thank it. Clearing is kindness. The silence between endings and beginnings is the calibration point where reality reconfigures itself around your evolution. In these moments, patience is power. The mind wants to rush through uncertainty, but the energy of the upgrade moves only through stillness. You can't speed up integration. When nothing seems to move, everything is rearranging. The quantum field doesn't respond to urgency, it responds to stability. Your calm is the password that unlocks the next level. Stay present, stay steady, and trust the delay as divine synchronization. The universe speaks in patterns, and the pattern of testing is always repetition. When you face the same situation again, it's not regression, it's verification. You're being shown how much stronger your vibration has become. If you can choose peace where you once chose panic, you've passed. The test never measures perfection, it measures response. Energy upgrades when you embody awareness under pressure. The truth is, your manifestations don't arrive when you ask, they arrive when your energy stops fluctuating. The field doesn't reward effort, it rewards coherence. Tests reveal where your signal wavers. Every trigger is an opportunity to stabilize your frequency. Each moment of restraint, gratitude, or neutrality under stress becomes a new foundation stone in your energetic architecture. The storm you endure is the structure you become. Growth demands contrast. Without resistance, there's no definition. You can't know strength without pressure, love without loneliness, peace without chaos. Tests are not punishment but polarity training. They stretch awareness until it can contain opposites without fracturing. Mastery is not controlling energy, it's holding both light and shadow with equal reverence. The universe expands through paradox, and so do you. When you feel like giving up, remember, that's the threshold. The moment you're about to collapse is often the final contraction before rebirth. Energy tightens before expansion, it's physics. The universe compresses your vibration to ignite transformation. What feels like suffocation is preparation. Breathe through it, and you'll discover that surrender is the real power move. The upgrade completes not when you push harder, but when you release deeper. This entire process is about embodiment. You're not learning new information, you're integrating frequency into form. Each realization must become behavior, each insight must become vibration. The universe tests embodiment, not intellect. The more consistently you act from alignment, the faster the external reflects it. Reality solidifies around your energetic consistency, not your intentions alone. Rest becomes sacred during upgrades. The nervous system is the hardware for spiritual software, and it must reboot. Sleep, silence, and solitude are not laziness, they are optimization. When you rest, integration completes behind the scenes. Your higher self doesn't stop working when your mind quiets. It works best when you stop interfering. The download arrives in dreams, in stillness, in surrender. During this process, your body might feel electric, tingling, vibrating, heavy, or light. These are signs of activation. The old density is being released as light codes enter. Drink water, move gently, and allow energy to flow. Don't pathologize awakening. What you call symptoms, the universe calls evolution. You are not breaking down, you're upgrading your operating system to run higher consciousness through human form. People around you may not understand. That's part of the test too, maintaining faith without external validation. You're being trained to hold energy independently. Others might fade, question, or even resist your change. Don't take it personally. Their reaction is data, showing where your frequency no longer fits. Let relationships shift without guilt. Connection built on alignment survives, the rest fades gracefully. Synchronicities intensify during testing because your vibration fluctuates rapidly. The universe mirrors every microshift to help you notice your own power. Seeing 1111 or 222 repeatedly is not random, it's calibration feedback. Every sign means you're in alignment, hold steady. The moment you ignore them, they disappear, not as punishment, but because stabilization has occurred. Signs fade when coherence locks in. As you near completion, you may experience emptiness, the void. It's the space between old identity and new embodiment. The void feels like nothingness, but it's pure potential. The field resets before building anew. In this silence, resist the urge to fill space. Wait, observe. Trust that unseen construction is happening. The universe always builds in darkness before revealing light. When the upgrade finalizes, peace replaces pursuit. The noise stops. You no longer chase signs or fear tests. Life flows with symmetry. You act from instinct, not strategy. The universe responds instantly because you and it have become the same frequency. That's mastery, the end of testing, the beginning of creation through coherence. Nothing external defines you anymore. Energy itself has recognized its source. And now, when challenges appear again, because evolution never stops, you smile. You see through the illusion of difficulty and remember, this is refinement, not regression. Every test is love in disguise, every delay divine precision. The universe is not against you, it's upgrading you. The lesson ends when you embody it, and when you do, life itself becomes proof that your energy never fails, it only evolves. When one upgrade completes, the next begins because consciousness never stops refining itself. You may feel a brief calm after the storm, a moment where everything aligns perfectly, relationships, timing, intuition. But soon after, a new wave of pressure appears. This doesn't mean you've fallen backward. It means the universe trusts you enough to handle a higher frequency. The next test is never punishment, it's initiation. Each cycle carries a new layer of mastery, a deeper invitation to embody presence under even greater intensity. You begin to recognize the rhythm of transformation. First comes expansion, the vision, the inspiration, the surge of purpose. Then contraction, confusion, fatigue, disconnection. The mind panics, thinking something went wrong, but the heart knows its integration. Energy moves in waves. Every inhale requires an exhale. Every breakthrough demands assimilation. The more gracefully you move through contraction, the faster you rise into the next expansion. There's a strange beauty in this rhythm. You start to see chaos as choreography. The things that once triggered you become signals of growth. You stop asking, "Why me?" and start asking, "What is this showing me?" That single shift turns suffering into awareness. Pain loses its sting because it now has purpose. You stop fearing the unknown because you've learned that darkness is simply light not yet recognized. The deeper you move into trust, the more effortless alignment becomes. You no longer chase manifestations, they find you. The field rearranges itself around your frequency because you've stabilized coherence. This is how miracles appear, not through desperate effort, but through sustained presence. You become magnetic without trying. What once required affirmations and rituals now flows naturally because your vibration speaks louder than words ever could. Testing no longer feels like testing, it feels like tuning. You begin to welcome discomfort as confirmation that the upgrade is in progress. Resistance stops being the enemy and becomes the sculptor shaping precision. You realize that peace isn't the absence of challenge, it's the ability to remain unmoved within it. True mastery is maintaining softness in the presence of friction. That's how the soul expands, not by avoiding intensity, but by holding stillness inside it. Your energy becomes crystalline, clear, strong, transparent. People can feel your frequency before you speak. Some are drawn to it instinctively. Others may react with discomfort because it reflects what they haven't yet faced. This is part of leadership, embodying energy that uplifts without convincing. You lead not by teaching, but by radiating coherence. The universe uses you as a tuning fork for collective consciousness. As your vibration stabilizes, time starts behaving differently. Manifestations accelerate, intuition sharpens, and synchronicity becomes constant. You realize that your thoughts no longer drift, they create. The delay between idea and evidence shrinks because you've removed resistance. Responsibility deepens because creation has become instant. You begin guarding your mind as sacred space, allowing only thoughts that serve alignment. This is energetic maturity. You notice your priorities changing. External validation loses meaning, internal peace becomes priceless. You care less about outcomes and more about resonance. Decisions are guided not by logic but by frequency, what feels light, alive, true. The higher you ascend, the simpler life becomes. Complexity fades because coherence eliminates confusion. You understand now that simplicity is not lack, it's mastery distilled into ease. And yet, with every rise, new layers of density emerge to be cleared. The more light you hold, the deeper the shadow revealed. Don't mistake this for regression. You can't transcend what you don't integrate. Every resurfaced wound is an old program asking to be released. You don't heal by fighting the shadow, you heal by seeing it without flinching. Awareness transforms everything it touches. As the energy upgrade intensifies, sensitivity becomes superpower. You start feeling collective emotions, planetary shifts, and unseen frequencies. It can feel overwhelming, but sensitivity is precision. It means your energetic instrument has been fine-tuned. Grounding becomes essential. Walk barefoot, breathe consciously, touch the earth. The human body is the bridge between infinite and form. It anchors light into matter. Without grounding, awareness drifts. You begin to realize that surrender is the highest discipline. The ego calls it giving up. The soul calls it returning to flow. You no longer pray for things to happen. You pray for the strength to align. The difference changes everything. Instead of begging reality to rearrange, you rearrange yourself to match reality. That's the secret of effortless creation, coherence before circumstance. The tests will come again, but you meet them differently now. Where you once reacted, you now respond. Where you once contracted, you now breathe. You see through drama into pattern, through pain into lesson, through delay into design. Nothing feels wasted because everything has purpose. Energy is never random, it's always instructive. You start to thank the friction because it's polishing your light. The upgrade touches every layer of your existence. Old memories resurface not to haunt you, but to be rewritten. You may find yourself dreaming vividly, feeling déjà vu, sensing timelines merging. That's because the higher frequencies collapse linear time. Healing in the present transforms the past and unlocks the future simultaneously. You're not becoming someone new, you're remembering who you were before forgetting became necessary. Eventually, the tests feel like conversations with the universe. The pressure no longer scares you because you recognize it as communication. When things intensify, you whisper, "I understand," and everything softens. You and creation move as one current, one consciousness. The universe no longer pushes you forward, it flows through you effortlessly. At this level, gratitude becomes instinct. You stop seeking protection because you realize you are the protection. Awareness itself is safety. Fear dissolves because separation dissolves. Every experience becomes sacred, every breath divine. Life no longer tests, it collaborates. The universe doesn't challenge you anymore, it creates through you. When you look back, you'll see that every moment of breaking was a moment of building. The pain you survived was precision, not punishment. The waiting was preparation. The emptiness was expansion. You never failed a test. You completed every initiation exactly on time. The universe doesn't grade, it evolves. Each trial was a love letter disguised as chaos. And now, you move forward without resistance. The old fear of falling apart is gone because you understand that falling apart is how stars are born. You carry light that doesn't flicker under pressure. You embody balance, grace, and power without effort. The upgrade is complete, not because life stopped testing, but because you stopped separating tests from love. Every challenge ahead will now feel different. You will meet them not with fear, but with memory, the memory that you've already passed through worse and risen brighter. You will remember that upgrades never end, but neither does the strength that carries you through them. You are evolution in motion, consciousness refining itself endlessly. The test was never about survival. It was about recognition, remembering that your energy never breaks, it only transforms. There is a peace that only arrives after countless storms, the quiet confidence that no test can unmake what has already been integrated. You've become familiar with the rhythm of expansion and contraction, no longer fearing it. When energy compresses, you breathe. When life rearranges, you observe. Every shift feels like an echo of something you already know. You understand now that the universe isn't testing your limits, it's revealing your infinite capacity. The more you trust, the more effortlessly you expand. At this stage, the lessons become subtle. The universe no longer needs to shake your foundation to get your attention. It whispers through intuition, through a single sentence in a conversation, through a flash of understanding that seems to arrive from nowhere. Growth becomes gentle, almost invisible. You stop searching for meaning in big events because meaning has diffused into every small detail. You realize you are living inside a meditation, one that never ends. The world around you starts responding faster than thought. Before you even speak, energy moves. The people you meet finish your sentences, opportunities align without effort, and even challenges feel pre-scripted for growth. This is not coincidence, it's coherence reaching mastery. You no longer manifest, you maintain. The game has changed from creation to calibration. Each day becomes about staying in harmony rather than chasing expansion. That doesn't mean stagnation. The energy keeps evolving, but you've learned to evolve without suffering. You welcome contrast as teacher, stillness as companion, silence as guide. The need to label disappears. Pain and joy blur into one texture, experience. You finally understand that all vibration is divine, even the dense and the heavy. Nothing is wasted, nothing is wrong. Everything contributes to equilibrium. People around you notice the shift. They may describe you as calm, unshakable, or glowing. They sense the difference even if they don't understand it. You've become a living transmission, a lighthouse of coherence in an uncertain world. Others feel safer simply standing near your frequency because your stability harmonizes the environment. You don't have to preach or persuade, your presence teaches. The universe begins to use you as conduit. Inspiration flows through you like current, words, art, healing, ideas. You realize you were never meant to control this flow, only to stay open. Each creative impulse is not yours but through you, and the moment you claim it as personal, the flow slows. Humility keeps the channel clear. The higher the vibration, the lighter the grip. When you look at your old life, it feels like watching another incarnation. The worries, the insecurities, the tests, they all seem distant, almost tender in memory. You see how every pain sculpted your strength. You stop wishing anything had been easier because you recognize that ease would have denied depth. The struggle made space for the light you now carry effortlessly. Gratitude replaces regret. As new energy waves arrive, your system no longer reacts with fear. You feel the expansion before it happens, the way the ocean senses a tide. You prepare naturally, resting more, breathing deeper, listening closer. Integration has become instinct. You no longer resist transformation, you anticipate it. You meet each wave like an old friend returning with new wisdom. The deeper truth reveals itself. Evolution is not a destination but a heartbeat. Each test was a pulse, each realization an inhale, each surrender an exhale. You are the rhythm itself, consciousness expanding and contracting for eternity. You stop measuring progress and start honoring motion. You realize that even the moments you thought were regressions were part of perfect synchronization. The human part of you still feels, still aches, still hopes, but the difference is awareness. Emotion flows without sticking. Thought passes without pulling. You don't deny your humanity, you expand it. You've learned that enlightenment is not escape, it's full participation without attachment. You are both ocean and wave, infinite yet intimately present in form. You start creating not for validation but for vibration. Every action becomes art because it's born of alignment. You speak when moved, rest when guided, move when inspired. You realize there's no hierarchy between silence and expression, both serve the same current. You live in cooperation with flow, no longer pushing against the river. Effort has transformed into elegance. And now the universe tests differently, not through loss or chaos but through abundance and ease. The question becomes, can you hold grace without guilt? Can you remain humble when everything flows perfectly? Expansion now tests balance. It's not about surviving density, it's about staying grounded in light. The higher the vibration, the subtler the challenge. You accept this too with gratitude. You know the cycle will always continue, each ending a beginning, each rest a preparation. But fear has left the system completely. The unknown feels like home now. You no longer wait for life to prove itself, you prove life through your being. The field mirrors that certainty instantly. Everything begins to feel slower yet deeper. Colors appear richer, time expands, sound carries emotion. Awareness refines to microscopic precision. You notice the intelligence in everything, the way air moves, the way hearts synchronize, the way silence communicates. You stop trying to ascend somewhere higher and start realizing you were already there. Heaven was never above, it was awareness remembered below. You are no longer the student or the teacher, you are the energy itself, oscillating between the two. The universe no longer tests your endurance because you've become endurance. You hold space for others walking through storms, not by fixing them, but by staying anchored. You understand now that compassion is the highest vibration because it merges empathy with neutrality. And in this realization, you finally rest. The journey continues infinitely, yet you no longer chase completion. Each moment is fulfillment, each breath is ceremony, each heartbeat is confirmation that your energy never fails, it only refines. The test was never about passing. It was about becoming aware enough to realize you were the upgrade all along. Every time you reach a new level of awareness, life gently reorganizes to match it. The vibration you emit begins to rewrite the structures around you, relationships, opportunities, and even your environment adjust to your new resonance. It's not that the world changes, it's that you've tuned into a higher layer of it. What used to feel impossible starts to happen effortlessly because resistance has no foothold in higher coherence. You stop striving for alignment and begin to exist as it. The simplicity of this state surprises you. You thought enlightenment would feel like fireworks, but it feels like exhaling after holding your breath for lifetimes. It's not loud, it's serene. The true upgrade was never about gaining power, it was about remembering peace. The quiet confidence that radiates from you isn't arrogance, it's stability. It's the still knowing that nothing needs to be forced because everything already flows. You begin to sense that your energy now influences timelines. A single calm thought can redirect outcomes that would have once required months of effort. You see people soften in your presence, conflicts dissolve, situations harmonize. This isn't control, it's resonance. Coherence always brings order. When you stay centered, the quantum field organizes around that frequency. You become the eye of the storm, untouched, unmoved, luminous. There's freedom in realizing you don't have to manage life. The universe is self-balancing and you are part of that system. All you ever needed was to stop resisting. Control was always an illusion built from fear. Once fear dissolves, the field reveals its perfection. You see that nothing is missing, nothing wasted, and nothing out of place. The plan was never separate from the process. The unfolding itself was the design. This understanding changes how you respond to everything. Judgment disappears because you see through polarity. The people who trigger you now appear as teachers. The moments that hurt you reveal depth. Duality becomes harmony. You no longer divide experience into right or wrong, you experience it as rhythm. Awareness is your only compass, and it never fails. Even your concept of self continues to soften. You stop defining yourself by achievements, roles, or even personality. You sense your consciousness expanding beyond the body, merging with the infinite intelligence that breathes galaxies into motion. You are not trying to ascend anymore. You're remembering that you were never below. The infinite isn't somewhere else, it's within everything that is. Time bends around this realization. You find yourself slipping between moments effortlessly, past, present, and future blending into one continuous awareness. You feel déjà vu not because it's repeating, but because time is echoing itself to remind you that all versions of you exist simultaneously. You are the thread connecting them, weaving countless lifetimes into a single tapestry of light. There is no more fear of death, loss, or ending. You've seen too clearly that energy never disappears, it only transforms. The people you've loved, the experiences you've left behind, they still vibrate within you. Nothing is truly gone. The universe recycles memory into evolution, and the heart recognizes eternity in every heartbeat. The end of fear is the beginning of freedom. This freedom births a new creativity. You begin to co-create consciously with the universe, not as a request but as a collaboration. Ideas arrive as energy, not effort. You express, not to prove, but to celebrate. Every creation becomes an offering, a vibration released into the field to uplift, harmonize, and inspire. You realize that every act, no matter how small, contributes to the universal symphony of awakening. And yet you remain human. You still laugh, cry, love, and wonder. The difference is that awareness stands beside every emotion, observing with compassion. You no longer drown in feeling, you surf it. Pain doesn't disappear, it passes through faster because you no longer hold it hostage. Joy expands without limit because it no longer depends on conditions. You've remembered how to live fully without forgetting the infinite. The next level of testing now arrives through abundance. The universe begins to ask, can you hold success with humility? Can you receive without fear of losing? Can you share without expectation? Prosperity becomes a spiritual practice. You learn that giving and receiving are one motion, energy flowing in perfect equilibrium. Money, opportunity, and recognition are no longer goals, they are instruments of resonance. As more people awaken, your presence becomes a stabilizer. You're no longer just upgrading for yourself, you're anchoring frequency for others. The universe sends you where coherence is needed, to rooms heavy with chaos, to people lost in confusion, to places where balance must return. You don't fix, you embody. That's the new leadership. The energy you carry silently harmonizes everything around it. This kind of service doesn't drain you, it nourishes you. The more light you channel, the stronger you become. You understand now that giving is infinite because energy multiplies through sharing. You no longer fear depletion because you've tapped into source, and source never runs out. You're not separate from it. You are the conduit through which it flows into the world. Still, you stay humble. You remember how easily ego disguises itself as enlightenment. True mastery is invisible. It hides inside humility. You don't announce awakening, you live it quietly. You allow others their pace, their timing, their path. Patience becomes sacred. You no longer rush anyone toward understanding because you know that every awakening is scheduled perfectly. The universe never misses an appointment. You find beauty in imperfection. The cracks in everything no longer bother you, they're proof of openness. Light needs space to enter. You stop chasing perfection and begin celebrating authenticity. You realize that love isn't flawless, it's fearless. Love holds everything exactly as it is, unedited, unjudged. That's the vibration that sustains universes. As this awareness matures, even the idea of upgrade fades. The word implies hierarchy, but energy moves in spirals, not ladders. There is no higher or lower, only deeper. You understand now that awakening isn't ascension, it's expansion. You grow outward in all directions, embracing every layer of existence. Heaven and earth meet inside your chest, and the heartbeat becomes the bridge between them. You live now with eyes that see everything as sacred. The mundane glows with mysticism. The sound of rain feels like language, the flicker of light becomes meditation. Every breath feels like prayer, every heartbeat an affirmation that creation is still unfolding through you. The separation between spiritual and physical dissolves. Everything is spirit wearing form. And as you stand in this fullness, you realize there are no final upgrades, only infinite refinements. Awareness expands forever, discovering new expressions of itself in every corner of existence. You smile at the endlessness of it, knowing that there's nothing to achieve, only more of yourself to experience. The universe doesn't end, it evolves, and you evolve with it endlessly, effortlessly, joyfully, light remembering light.